Do you know that by working with 8-figure clients, you can make more money, deliver better results, and also secure 6 to 12-month contracts? But how do you find these dream clients? In this video, I'll share the step-by-step system that I use to get $10 million clients. I'll show you how I find these 8-figure clients, how I send them emails that instantly make them book a meeting with me, and I'll share the complete process that takes me from sending a cold email to getting the contract signed in. So you can literally just copy me. And there's this big mistake that people make, which keeps them stuck at working with low quality or lower ticket clients. And that is not getting a case study that's worth $10 million. So to get a good case study, there are a few things we need to do, which I'll show you right now. You must be thinking like, what's a case study that's worth $10 million? So you can look at my results, for example. So I work with 45 plus B2B businesses in the past 3 years. I've flooded the calendar with appointments. I've generated over 5.3 million in sales pipeline for one of my clients. I've helped clients increase their sales qualified leads by 500%. I've helped people add $80,000 in monthly recurring revenue. I've helped people talk to multi-billion-dollar investment firms for their content offer. I've helped all sorts of businesses, mainly B2B tech, SaaS, and software companies. So these are some good case study examples that if you do have that, it's going to be easier for you to get these $10 million clients. So as you can see, we need to get a $10 million case study. And to get a $10 million case study, we need to find 8-figure clients. So how do you find 8-figure clients? There are multiple platforms which you can use to find these 8-figure clients. So there's Clay, the first platform which I use, which can do absolutely anything for you. And I'll just quickly walk you through how I find these 8-figure businesses. So you simply go to Clay, you go to table, you find companies, and here you can filter out by industry, employee size, and absolutely anything you want. And what I'm trying to show you is more often than not, if the employee size is over 11, 20, and stuff like that, these are businesses who are generating over multi-7 figures and some over 8 figures. So you can filter out by this. You can also select industry. So let's say I'm targeting software companies, right? So you can select those, and you can even select the country, and then you can preview, and then you can import all these companies into a table. Then you can enrich them. You can find the decision makers, and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff inside Clay. This is the first tool we use. The second thing, which is really awesome and amazing, is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? So Sales Navigator is an amazing tool, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I've already filtered, so I can show you how can you filter out who you want to target and find these 8-figure companies, right? So the first thing is company headcount. As I previously mentioned, if you select between 11 to 50 employees, most of these companies are multi-7 figures, some are 8 figures. But if you select over 50, mostly these are 8-figure companies. So if you select by those, then you can do company type, you can select the location as you see. This is also another important information. So I'm targeting sales leader and the sales department of these companies. So I've selected a function which is sales and business development. If you're going after a different function of that particular industry, then you can select that, right? And this is one of the most important parts of the process. Like most people don't do this right. This is called Boolean search inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And if you do that right, you can basically pinpoint exactly who you want to target in that particular 8-figure company, which would basically get your message across in a better way. So how do you basically do Boolean search? So let's say my goal is to target all the sales leader in that particular company. So I've written out VP of sales or vice president of sales or head of sales and stuff like that. And you can simply use ChatGPT to help you with it. So as you can see, I'm using ChatGPT. Usually I use ChatGPT for Omni. You can tell GPT to find all senior job titles in US-based tech companies. You can do whatever you want for your use case. So let's say you are targeting a different health industry or whatever. And you can tell like find all the heads of this particular function of that company. And you can see it has found me all these. And then I'm giving it a prompt to write it in a Boolean format so I can use it in Sales Navigator, and now it has found me. And now I've simply copied and pasted, and I probably have selected half of this because this is going to be too long, and I've copied and pasted inside here, and I've also selected the seniority level, right? As you can see, CXO, Vice President, Owner, Partner, Director, because these are usually the decision makers or they have the authority. I've selected geography. I've also selected industry. So let's say I'm going after software, so IT, technology, software, information, English, and then only the people who fall under my ideal client profile, these 8-figure companies, and not just 8-figure companies, the people who I want to target in those 8-figure companies I have. And I can simply reach out to them, I can scrape them, I can import them inside Clay using this simple function which you see here. So you can see, I can just copy and paste this, and Clay will basically find all these people and add them into the Clay table. And lastly, what you can do is you can use Apollo.io, which is one of the most popular B2B lead generation tools. And you can literally do the exact same thing as I've showed you in Clay and Sales Navigator. And you can basically filter out by country, job titles, employee side. You can even do Boolean search here. You can use the same format. And also, there's one really interesting thing. If you have, you can do the buying intent. You can see if they've joined the company, and you can do all the crazy stuff inside Apollo. Then once you find your ideal customers, these 8-figure, $10 million companies, then you need to write emails in a way which gets you booked meetings with them. So this is just a cold email example that I'm showing you that has worked tremendously well for me. And you can literally copy the exact same format to get exactly the same results as me. So as you can see, it starts with hey first name, and then we are using some sort of personalization. Like, looks like your ideal customers are sales managers aiming to grow through community collaboration. And how do I find that? I'll tell you in the next part of the video, where I'm using Clay to basically do the entire personalization first line. Then we are talking about the value proposition. Like, I want to explore if we can get you meeting ready leads with your ideal customers without breaking the bank. And at last, you can see we have a very light call to action, which says, would you be open to a brief conversation this week? And then we're also giving them a way to decline. If they don't want to receive our emails, they can simply reply with no, and we won't reach out to them again. And this would significantly improve your reply rate, because the prospect would think that they are in the authority position, that they can say no. And lastly, we are using also a PS line. So in the PS line, we are using a risk reversal, which says something like, we'll build the first campaign at no cost to you. And the reason why we say this is because it's very easy for us to build the first campaign. And if they agree to work with us, we know that they can afford our service because they are an 8-figure company. What you can also do in the PS line is have some sort of personalization, which says something like, when I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you made a post about XYZ, it was really impressive. I got so much value out of it. Something like this. And yeah, as you can see, the cold email format is personalization, value proposition, call to action, and risk reversal. And this is an amazing format for cold email. Okay, so let me break down a good cold email that worked really well for me. So as you can see, it starts with a pain point. As you can see, there's no personalization here. What you can do instead of the pain point is you can use a personalization. So as you can see, it starts with, did you ever think that you spend weekends sorting through prospects in your sales pipeline? So I'm sending this email to sales leader or sales managers, and this is kind of the daily, day-to-day task, which is kind of a major problem or pain point. And then I'm using a social proof, which is like, over 45 plus companies have added 70 million in sales pipeline with deals ranging from 5K to 250K without needing a large SDR team, right? I'm giving them a proof to build some credibility. Now, what's the value proposition? They did this, or they have achieved this by using core bits, and we provided meeting ready leads for their sales team. Like, what I'm trying to tell them, the sales leader, is I can do this the same for you. And the call to action is very light, which says interested in seeing how it works, and a question mark. And the PS line, it should be over that, I believe, but the PS line is a very specific personalization, which tells them that I've done my research on their LinkedIn profile. So I went ahead and I did the research on the LinkedIn profile. And the fun fact is I did this entire thing using Clay. So it says, really enjoyed your LinkedIn post on how AI is transforming sales tech in 2024. Pretty insightful. So that shows that I've read one of their recent LinkedIn posts. Now let me show you how I use Clay to build this entire outbound campaign to get me these crazy results. So the first thing, as you can see in front of you, is Clay, right? And as I've previously shown you in this video, you can use Sales Navigator URL. You can paste it inside Clay. You can paste this entire thing, and then it'll basically take like 5 to 10 minutes, and it'll basically give you results like this. So now you have specific prospects that you've imported inside Clay using just a URL, and now you can basically do all the crazy workflows here. And as you can see, these are sales managers, and we have all their entire detail, all the past companies that they work with, all their data points, everything. The first thing we are doing is we are normalizing the company name by using an enrichment, which is normalize. And the reason why we normalize is we don't want to have LLC or anything here, right? We want to have a clean company name so it looks like a real person is sending a cold email. The next thing we are doing is, just to be on the safe side, is we are applying a formula which says remove all the company names that are over 500 employees. And if you were reaching out to 1 to 50, then you can apply the same formula which says I want this column to add only 1 to 5 employees. And then I've added a filter which only shows me 1 to 50 or 1 to 200 employees, right? Then what we are doing is an amazing step is we are identifying if it's a B2B or B2C tech company. And as you can see, I've given GPT-4 Omni, which is the new GPT, and it's pretty awesome. I've given it a detailed prompt with examples of big companies like Salesforce, HubSpot, Slack, Twilio. And I've given examples of Netflix, Spotify, Dropbox, Duolingo to tell it, to train it basically, to identify between a B2B or B2C tech company. And as you can see, it's giving me B2B, B2C, B2B, and most of these are B2B because I've used Sales Navigator and IT software. So now I know who I need to reach out to. And I want to reach out to B2B companies. The next thing I've done, which is pretty awesome, I've scraped the entire website. So I have the data of their entire website. Previously, a virtual assistant has to go to their entire website and research their website. Now we can do everything inside Clay. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to match it against certain keywords to identify if this prospect would be an ideal fit of what I'm looking for. So as you can see, I've added these keywords. Let's say I'm only looking to target CRM softwares, cloud services, SaaS, or stuff like that, right? So ideally, I would have also added that in the search keyword here. And also to further verify if they really offer that, I could have done this here, which I've did it. I've added all the software keywords, and then it'll basically show me if there are any matching keywords. And the reason for me to do that is I know that this software company exactly does what I'm looking for based on my past case studies or whatever reason I have. After that, what I'm doing is I'm finding the ideal customers. And this is going to be our foundation of the first sentence, which tells the prospect that we know who their ideal customers are, and these are sales leaders, and they really care about their ideal customers. And if someone tells them that they know who their ideal customers are, they're immediately going to listen. So what I've did here is I've trained GPT-4 to basically go on their website, use their LinkedIn description, all the details to find me their ideal customers when they do outbound prospecting. So as you can see, I have a detailed prompt which says find the exact job titles that they sell to when they're doing sales prospecting. I've given examples and all the details, and I've also given it a personality, like you're a helpful assistant and XYZ. As you can see how crazy things are. Once I've done that, now I can basically put a formula in which separates their target customers, their target titles, and also the major problems solved by their company. Now, once I have all these details, their target customers, I know who they're targeting, what their business is about, I have their details, they are VP of sales, now I can finally enrich and find their work email. And more often than not, I have like a 99% enrichment rate, which means I can find most of their emails, because we're doing something crazy here, is we're using a waterfall enrichment, which means if one data provider doesn't find it, we'll move on to the next and the next and the next one. So as you can see here, I'm using a waterfall, work email waterfall enrichment, this one, and it's using 5 to 6 data providers to find the email. So as you can see, if this didn't find it, it moved on to the next one and the next one until it finds it. So as you can see, I have all these sales leaders' work email, which they check, and then at the end, I've written a cold email, first sentence only, which got me amazing results. So I've also trained GPT-4 here to write me a specific first line of a cold email. So I'm telling GPT to write the first sentence of a cold email to John, who is the VP of sales of this company. This is the company description, and this is how I want you to write the first sentence of the cold email. I've given it exact instructions. So it's just going to fill in the blank. Like the sentence is, looks like your ideal customers are dash in dash industry looking for dash, which is target titles, target customers, and major problem solve. So I've given it exact instructions that I want you to sound like a real human, and I want you to write in very simple and easy way and not AI generated way, right? And keep it under 20 words. As you can see, you can read the entire prompt. And I've given it examples of big companies like Salesforce, Microsoft, HubSpot, and stuff like that. So it can learn how to basically write the first sentence of a cold email. And I've written these examples manually. So as you can see at the end, it has written the first sentence really great. Like, looks like your ideal customers are sales manager aiming to grow through community collaboration. Looks like your ideal customers are marketing managers in growing firms seeking to build a strong ambassador program. Like exactly this. And if you send this to a sales leader and this is what their product does, this is who their customers are, and this is what they're looking for, they will immediately respond because they think that you know who they're targeting, what their ideal customers are looking for, so they would want to respond to you. Okay, and once we have everything, like the emails, all the details, what we can simply do, click on Add Enrichment, go to Add Lead to Campaign, and once we do Add Lead to Campaign, we can simply add all this data into a cold email software that we use. It could be Instantly, Lemlist, or Smart Lead, and then we can add all the details directly into a particular campaign. So we don't even have to export, import, and do anything else. Now, a quick summary from sending a cold email to getting the meeting booked in with an 8-figure, $10 million plus company. The first thing we need to get a case study, right? And how do we get a case study? We use platforms like Clay, LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, Apollo, and stuff like that to pinpoint exactly who we want to target. We can select industry, employee size, and the person we want to target in that particular company. Then we write emails that books meetings. We use all the personalization, the value proposition, call to action, an amazing PS line, and all the crazy stuff. And we can build the entire outbound system just using Clay. Congratulations. Now you know how to find these $10 million clients. But what's the point of doing all this when you don't know how to close deals? So go ahead and watch this next video where I break down the exact strategy of how I close 5-figure deals by just sending cold emails.